So I've been doing a lot of recording for various longer videos, but today I just wanted to hop on and say that I had mostly a good day, except that I'm trying to get in frame here. There we go. My camera just went out of focus, so I finally had a good most of the day, but I had to have a follow-up call with somebody for a job search, which normally wouldn't be a problem. I think that the New Bedford Career Center does wonderful things for literally everybody. They do what they can. Unfortunately, they don't get enough funding or really the attention that they need. But they help people who are in need to get some of those job skills, get some of those basic computer skills. I think they do, occasionally do linguistics and basic, how to fill out a resume. They do classes there for the public in Spanish and Portuguese, and they really cater to the public as best as they can, again, with the limited funds and resources that they have. So through that, I've had nothing but positive experiences with the individual staff members, and it just I don't see why it would be a problem. I guess I can say that my mom retired from them, from working at the Career Center with various roles, various capacities. She was with the state. She was a state employee for over 33 years. And it wasn't until I did a regular Zoom kind of group seminar where they do a lot of the basic introductory things are still done remotely. And it wasn't until I guess today, because I had the group meeting yesterday, today was the follow-up. It was, a woman called me and said, "Oh my gosh, I didn't realize who you were when I talked to you, and our whole office staff has been really heartbroken this last year." And basically was outlining we've all been so heartbroken, and she touched so many people's lives, and not only was she an excellent employee and excellent coworker, not only was the public coming in and requesting her frequently enough, but also she would make time for her coworkers outside of work, and basically what I mean by that is she would make time to go to their functions or donate to people's kids' fundraisers and donate to just showing up. That's the easiest way I can say it, is that she would go to this particular person was saying, yeah, she and a couple of the other women from the office used to come to my choir group all the time, especially around Christmas time, and it was so beautiful and sweet of them. And through literally no fault of this woman's, she was kind and wonderful, but I really ended up having the same over the phone experience that I've been chronically avoiding, by going out physically shopping less. So because again, the greater New Bedford area is not big enough to not run into people at the grocery store, and through different things like Walmart, it's really hard. Like, I specifically have run into people who worked alongside her, and sometimes they're cashiering somewhere now as like their pseudo partly retired job, or just you're in the aisle somewhere. And so today it couldn't have been avoided. Like I said, I'm in the process of trying to get my act together, trying to get a little bit more serious and proactive about job search, and frankly I wasn't ready for today's interaction. I full on just wasn't in the headspace where like I was prepared to talk about like I by no means ever expect to be treated differently, or like it was interesting the way she said it. It's like, yeah, we've all been talking about you like around the water cooler and the family, and like it's just such an incredibly sad thing and so sudden. And I'm like, yeah, it really was. And again, through no fault of this woman's, it's just like I was a trooper on the phone, and I'm glad that I found out my mom touched a bunch more people's lives, but I fully was not in, like, I hadn't braced myself for that. So I basically, like, I said thank you. I was as polite and kind and gracious as I think I could have been. But I definitely hung up the phone with her and cried for like 45 minutes. I'm just still so devastated, and like, and I've been talking to some of my other relatives, like the day, not only did, things happen with my mom during a blizzard, so like trying to get to the hospital with really low visibility, incredibly awful weather, and then like the day after my family had to say, goodbye to her and everything at the hospital. I literally, like, the next day woke up and had to shovel like a 6-car driveway again by myself. And it's stuff that like I basically did all the shoveling and all the heavy lifting when I was living there, so to have like that be an extension of yep, here's the most difficult, most horrible thing that's happened, and now you get to go cry while shoveling the driveway, or cry, and salt the sidewalk. And it was just like the most ridiculous thing. And then part of me was like, yeah, you know what, I will kick the shit out of all the snow, because that's a way to get some of the adrenaline and some of the like actual sorrow out of your system, is you can beat the shit out of a snow pile. But yeah, it gives a totally different meaning. Like I've said, with the snow falling was triggering, being the same time of year triggering, being between my birthday and a couple of my other relatives have birthdays like really close to mine, so it's just like wham bam 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 bam. Like we're all going through some variation of like torrential heartbreak about losing this cornerstone of our family, who was also a pillar in her community. And like, yes, she had been retired like 5 or 6 years at that point, but like she had still left such an impact on her office. And I remember as a little kid, like I would go and like help out at my mom's office sometimes. Like I don't know, you know, obviously her boss was good enough to like sometimes I would come after school, or if, you know, I don't really remember what the circumstances were, but it happened a lot where like maybe my granddad couldn't pick me up or something and she would pick me up after school and I'd sit in the conference room and like I'd help her. You know, I'd do stuff like I would make photocopies and like put packets together and be helpful and be, you know, as a little kid you're told to be like out of somebody's way, and I kind of got that right away, and I was like, yep, I'll be quiet, I'll be good, I'll be assembling all this stuff. And I would happily make photocopies and do like silly odds and ends while, you know, until she finished her workday, just quietly minding my business in an empty conference room and making sure, you know, I remember doing a little bit of the setup stuff. It would be like, okay, we do have a seminar, can you put a pen at everybody's station, make sure there's 30 of these and make sure there's, you know, one of these for everybody. And it would be like, I'd be like, I don't know, I'd just be like, yep, okay, no problem, and like peace out, and then like go sit in a different cubicle or something. And it's been loss after loss after loss after loss, and I'm not doing great. I think that's really important to say. It's really critical to how I'm acting. Like, no corner of my life is going well right now, and it's really hard to say, like, I know my mom wouldn't necessarily be happy with me, like, venting my life to YouTube either. Like, I think that she was always, because social media was still so new, she was like, well, don't post on Facebook about, like, you know, she would see these instances that pop up on like Good Morning America where like somebody would post a tweet or something on Facebook that was like, hey, gonna go interview at this stupid job, and then like Target or whoever at Walmart would reply and be like, well, don't bother coming in for your interview, or like these extreme things where they'd be like putting the cart before the horse, and then the company would basically retract their interview. So she was looking at the things like that coming in and really wouldn't have, I don't believe she would have understood me doing more video blogs like this, but like I've said, it's really critical to, like, there's nothing to be ashamed of about the grieving process, and everybody is grieving, like literally everybody is grieving, and it sucks that people are choosing to do it privately, because for me, like, I really do desperately need to talk to people, and I think temporarily at least being able to talk to my audience here, which I'm so appreciative for, like that's been at least supplemental, because if at least one person can hear what I'm going through and feel less alone about their current circumstances as they try and navigate the death of a loved one during a global pandemic, whether or not it has to do with the pandemic, it does massively impact what kind of services you can have, how many people you can have together, and it's disgusting. It's fully disgusting how, like, it just has such a chokehold on everyone. So yesterday I had the time and space to be clear-headed enough to share with you guys about my friend who I lost last September, and I know I've repeatedly brought up losing my mom, but it's just, I know that good topics are coming, I know that pleasant things are coming someday, and until we have those, I think that it's really critical to not just carefully curate the happy parts of life, and not just be only posting smiles and only posting vacations and only posting success stories, because that's, fuck that. Like, fuck that. Fully fuck that. That's not what life is right now. And the lack of support from pretty much everyone I wish I had support from, physical or emotional or over the phone. Otherwise, like, there is very coolly no one coming. And it's not even that I'm looking, I don't believe I've ever really looked to somebody to seriously save me. Like, I've been consistently strong, and I feel like it sucks to look around and feel totally let down. Person after person after person. And I've had conversations subsequently where, like, you know, talking to some family members and talking to the few people that I do have in, like, a casual friendship way, or, you know, things like that. It's coming to terms with the fact that my 100% is more than somebody else's 200%. Like, things that I would wake up and do and happily, like, the people I would happily set myself on fire for are not. They would probably look at me differently. They probably never had that capacity in them. And for me, I'm gonna explore this in a different video, but, like, I love quickly and intensely, and if you're my friend, even if it's for, like, a shorter, like, span of time, like, I will not put less weight on you. I will be like, you are automatically in the top tier of, like, if you're in my circle, you're in my circle, and I will bring you up to the level of courtesy that I would give any of those people. So, again, just the realization that I'm fully less than, and that my expectations of what, like, how I would treat someone, how I deserve to be treated, and realizing that I'm not less than, but my bar for how well I treat everybody else is, like, 40 feet above my head. And, like, not being able to treat me half as well as that is, to me, it's disgusting, it's deplorable, but somebody else can look at me and say, like, how could this possibly be devastating you so badly?